Talking now with Ferris State football coach Jeff Pierce as the Bulldogs prepare for their homecoming game against Finley this Saturday at Top Taggart Field. Coach, your team is coming off a 22-12 win at Lake Erie last week. Your thoughts on last week's ball game?
Well, last week our offense did not execute consistently in the first part of the football game, and that's something that we've got to continue to improve on. But it was a great character-building experience or learning experience because we've been behind in a number of these football games as we've gone through the first part of this season, and it doesn't rattle our football team. You know, I think that's a positive thing. I think our guys believe that they're going to win a football game and have the confidence to do that. And that's a very important part of the element as you go through a football season, to kind of not lose your focus when you're in those situations. It was nice to see, though, you know, it kind of clicked in as we went into the second half of that football game, and, you know, we took advantage of some of the opportunities that were given to us and pulled away from them. The game was kind of a miserable day with raining all day long and things like that, and playing at someone else's homecoming and those kind of things aren't the most ideal things, but you know, our expectations is a little higher than that. Anybody that we play in this conference, we have to play right at the top of our game to be successful, and that's something that we have to crank up a notch. Our defense played well. You know, it's nice to see how they responded, and we've got our front seven, I think, are playing pretty dominant football right now. Not saying our secondary's not, but, you know, you look at the leaders in the conference, you know, in sacks and stuff like that. You know, we got two of our guys at the top of the charts there with Jake Marino and Jordan Morgan. And linebacker-wise, Matt Ryan is right there at the top of the charts too, in tackles and stuff like that. So, you know, it's nice to see how they're performing, and you know, I think we've got a good start under our belts right now. We continue to learn and continue to look at making adjustments as we go from week 1 to week 2, week 3, and right on through the course of the season. And that's what we need to do. We need to clean up some more things on our special teams. You know, we on our kickoffs, we're giving up too much yardage and giving up field position, and we've made some adjustments with that, and we will continue to do that.
In terms of the offense, how did the wet conditions affect your approach offensively in terms of the ball game last week?
Well, it doesn't change a lot what we're doing. You know, you still have to be able to play catch with the football no matter what the situation is. We have been able to run the ball pretty effectively in the past few weeks, and it's nice to see that happening. But, you know, we just, you know, more than anything else, it's, you know, our offense is really set on, it's a detail-orientated offense, and everybody needs to be exactly where they need to be to stretch an offense vertically, or a defense vertically and horizontally. And, you know, if you're off by a couple yards here and there, it allows defenders to make football plays that shouldn't make those kind of football plays when we're doing things to those specific details. So it's a work in progress. You know, it's a new system that we've put in obviously this year, and our guys are getting better and better each week. It's really nice to see Tom Snyder as our quarterback really to kind of starting to fall into his comfort zone, you know, and that's a huge thing. I mean, he's making great decisions on the field for us and doing a nice job putting the ball where it needs to be and things like that. So, you know, those are all things as we go through the course of the season are very critical.
You mentioned your defense earlier. They're really starting to come together as a unit. They made some big plays again last week towards the end of the ball game. That's got to be nice to see them making big plays down in crunch situations.
Yeah, and you know, the teams that were playing, you know, Lake Erie, they were moving the ball well against people and putting up a lot of yards and things like that, running that option offense that they have, you know. So it is really nice to see our guys gel together. And the whole thing about it is, again, that attitude type of thing that I think that I mentioned earlier that's so critical. You know, there are going to be situations where we're going to be behind in football games. It's not a perfect world. These teams that we're playing, everybody spends a lot of time trying to win football games. You just have to have the composure when maybe things aren't all falling into place to be able to play at the level we need to do. And that's what our guys are demonstrating right now. And when our defense gets backed up against the wall, you know, hey, you got to respond and you got to come out and you got to make stops and make things happen. And they're doing that. And that's a real positive thing for us.
This week you take on the Findlay Oilers. In terms of Findlay, what do you know about them as you go into this week's ball game?
Well, I know that you can throw the records out the window watching them through the course of the week. They're a good football team. They're a good football team, and they play hard. I spend most of my time watching their defense as I've spent most of my time with the offensive staff, and they've got a very good defense. They've got a great defensive line. They're very active. They get after you and things like that. So, and I know their offense is also has the ability to make things happen. So we got our hands full, and it's just important that we continue to make the strides that we need to as a football team. And we need to come out and we need to play 60 minutes of football. We haven't put together a whole 60-minute exhibition yet, and it'll be nice to be at home in our homecoming crowd. And we need to rev that thing up from the very beginning, the first kickoff of the game, and get into 60 minutes of playing fine-tuned, intense football and take control of the game and stay in control of the game. And that's what we really have to try to accomplish on Saturday.
In terms of motivation, I don't think it'll be a problem getting your players motivated after what happened last year when you played Finley.
Yeah, last year our game against Finley was, there was a comedy of errors. We had we gave up so many points in a short period of time. I've never been involved with that, But we really aren't going too far back into the history of it. Right now, we're in a situation where, we're having some success right now in the past few weeks, and we know what we're capable of doing. I think that confidence is helping our athletes to continue to move forward. That taste of victory, it tastes well, but you have to be craving that taste, and you can't be complacent with that. And right now, I think our guys are craving that taste, and the way they're practicing and the way they're preparing this week, as they did last week, I feel good about, we're putting in the time and effort, to continue to make those strides forward. They're a good football team, but we've got to go in there full throttle for 60 minutes and really play to the level that I feel that we can play to, and I think our players feel that they can play to, and if that's the case, we'll be very successful as we go into each one of these contests as we go through the course of the season.
Saturday is homecoming. There will be a number of alumni in town. It's a big occasion, but when it comes down to it, it's still just another conference football game.
You take them one at a time. The most important game on our schedule right now is the one in front of us, and it makes it a little bit easier. It's a little tougher on my end of it to try to make sure that we're to the intensity level that we need to be when we're on the road and in different locations. It sounds like we're going to have a beautiful day, and we're going to be in front of a lot of people that care about Bulldog football. A lot of guys that are living through these guys right now, and we've talked about that as we've gone through the course of the week. That's what homecoming's all about. It's all those guys that wore that uniform in the past that live through the guys that are in the present right now. And that makes it a little bit easier to get them up for a football game. If you can't get up for a game like that, then we've got real issues. So I think it's going to be a fun day for us.
Coach, best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.